Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Big Blue, and we're back with another video. We haven't done a Charlie Kirk video. We haven't done a Charlie Kirk video in a while, so let's just go ahead and get right into it and see exactly what's up. So this one is "Please Shut Up, I Am Talking." Girl gets triggered by Charlie Kirk. I don't know what she gets triggered by. I can see how Charlie Kirk can trigger her because sometimes he'll interrupt and stuff like that, which is probably more than likely what's going to be going on here. He's just going to be interrupting her while she's talking and stuff like that. But we'll see. We'll see what the topic is. No information on what the topic is on. So let's go ahead and check it out. As always, like, subscribe, and hit that bell. Let's get right into it.
I just kind of had a few questions, and I'm coming to you respectfully because I have no intention of being rude or anything, despite what you may think. I will be voting for the Democratic Party. Hold your booze. Hold your booze. I was
You kind of invited them.
Honestly.
Get them out, guys. Get it out.
Yeah, but it's okay. I don't really care.
All right, now enough. Stop it.
Yeah, no, but I don't really care. Because honestly, I feel like...
Be nice, guy.
The only way to unite the country is to unite the parties. Even though you disagree on some things, you're not going to get anything better unless you come together. So I kind of don't understand why y'all turn against each other, but that's not the point I'm trying to make. I have multiple things. Because, 3 days ago, I had no intention of voting whatsoever. Because I had heard what my friend said about the Democratic side. Can you please shut up while I'm talking?
Just don't let it get to you. Please continue.
Okay. Because it's just disrespectful. But, so I had people telling me about the Democratic Party, different stuff. They were like, this is good because of this. And then I had my family. They're like, well, Trump's good because of this. So then I just started researching literally 3 days ago, and I fell down this whole rabbit hole of so much stuff. That's why I will be voting for the Democratic Party.
Can I ask you, and it's not your question, what did you find persuasive enough to convince you to vote for Democrats?
Well, so you talked about Trump creating safe cities, safe streets, just a safe country, but you know about his rally where he said that he wants one full day of police retaliation to eradicate crime. You know about that? Are you familiar with the Night of Broken Glass? Kristallnacht, World War II. Are you familiar with that?
Well, I'm intimately familiar. I'm trying to understand the connection. Are we doing the Nazi thing again, or are we
There's honestly.
So crime was lower under Trump than under Kamala and Joe Biden. So I'm
Okay.
not much lower. Violent crime was substantially and sizably lower in every major metro area and every major state.
Okay, I'll give you that one, because. Like I said, I just started researching 3 days ago.
For sure.
I'm not like everybody else here where
That's
I've just been plotting this all.
But tell me what,
you know.
it's not your question. I just want to know as someone who does this for a living, because then I can get better. What did you find that you're like, now I'm voting for the Democrat Party? What made that click?
Okay, so the thing with me was my mom kept telling me, oh, go look at the websites. You have to look at the political party websites. So I'm like, okay, fine. I'll look at those too. And so I did, even though those are the most biased sources you're going to get because they're, I was looking under economy because that's everyone's main argument about Trump. They're like, oh, well, I don't like him, but I like his policies. So I wanted to look at his policies. So then I did, and they were a little too strangely similar to the ones I was looking at the Democratic Party. So I'm like, how am I supposed to know which one to believe? You're saying...
Good question. It's a great question. So which one did it better for 4 years? Kamala and Joe or Trump?
Are we not under Trump's tax policy right now? Till 2025?
Well, first of all, tax policy is a small part of economic policy. I mean, Joe Biden...
We're going to go into $2 trillion in debt by 2028 because of his tax policy.
That's actually not true.
It actually is true.
No, actually, so what the tax cut actually did is spur economic growth. And what you're talking about is not annualized deficits. You're talking about cumulative debt over 7 to 8 years. But you know what the tax cuts did? It actually cut your taxes. It was the largest middle class tax cut in American history. Now, I just want to ask a question. It's not a trick question. 75% of Americans say the economy was better under Trump.
Were we not under Obama's tax policy? And plus the pandemic, that's not really normal. So, of course, the economy is going...
Well, hold on. You got to stop with this Obama, Trump. You have to take ownership of your administration. So Trump will take ownership. He had the lowest unemployment, wages were going up, no inflation, housing boom. Why is that? He kept energy prices low, cut tax for middle-class families, got rid of stupid regulation, and we saw an economic renaissance. And American people remember how good that economy was, guys? It was amazing. and we don't have that now.
So would you say he's a good businessman?
Yeah, I mean, he's a multi-billionaire.
What about his multiple businesses that have went into bankruptcy?
Yeah, I mean, look, you're going to fail sometimes when you do businesses. But
10 times?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, he's 78 years old. I mean, how many billions have you made?
You know, he was also born into it.
Well, he was not born a billionaire. He was given a couple $1,000,000, but turning a couple $1,000,000 into $6 billion is like the greatest ROI in the history. And by the way, not only that, he helped redefine the Plaza Hotel, the Grand Hyatt, the Trump Hotel, the Trump Doral. I mean, there's some of the greatest properties you could imagine. It's a pretty impressive business record, I would say. But that doesn't matter. Was he a good president? Of course he was.
Okay. So another thing that also is kind of like skewing my vote. So everyone keeps telling me, oh my God, like everything he's saying is being taken out of context. He doesn't really mean it. Okay, so he didn't mean it when he said that he wants generals like Hitler had.
He never said that.
Did he not?
He did not. It's been completely
Interesting.
debunked, and 3 people around him said that is a complete fabrication.
Definitely.
Let me ask you a question. What do you want to do with your life?
Honestly, I haven't quite figured it out, which I know you're going to say college is a scam. You
What
don't
are
know
you
what you're doing. Clinical laboratory science and psychology with a
Okay.
minor in criminal justice,
So you want to be able to own a home?
of course.
Yeah, I mean, under Kamala, it requires $135,000 a year to own a home. Under Trump, it was $75,000 a year.
Interesting. I kind of just don't.
You care about ending war? Yeah, war's bad.
Did he like actually end war?
Yeah, it was the first president in 32 years for no new wars for 4 years.
Interesting.
New war under Obama, new war under
Interesting.
Bush, new war under Clinton, new war under Biden. No new wars under Donald Trump 4 years.
Right.
And he's been right now actually working on a peace treaty with Ukraine and Russia. Sorry, I know I was so close to finishing the video without stopping, but I just had to point that out. Let's see if we can get that to happen. Or was that actually a hoax of them actually having a peace treaty? Either way, a conversation is happening. I don't ever recall a conversation happening under Biden. So let's keep going.
So hold on, I had another point. I had a lot. I've been.
Let me ask you this:
researching.
what would change your vote for Trump, if anything?
Probably a lot. It would probably take a lot, because I mean the fact that he hasn't won the popular vote both terms that he ran, it's.
You know what
You know
that's
what I
like
mean?
saying? That's like saying, well,
When did
I
this
know the
come out?
Chiefs won the Super Bowl. I totally
Clearly
get that.
before the
But
election.
did you guys know that the Ravens, they got more yards? It's a completely irrelevant criteria. You run to win the electoral vote. It's like, no, but we kicked more field goals. Yeah, but did you have more points? So the Electoral College is the ultimate tally of points, not how many yards you get.
Right. Which I mean, I'm still trying to follow up on all that.
For sure, I
mean,
get that.
Yeah.
And
'cause
what's
I
your
mean,
what's your name?
Michaela.
Michaela, I want to get to the next question. I want you to think about what we said. Try to follow some of our accounts. If not, that's fine. There's a lot of propaganda out there. Try to bring down the noise. And I will say this. Donald Trump has people around him, 2 former Democrats that ran for the presidency, Bobby Kennedy and Tulsi Gabbard. Do you know who those people are? If not, that's okay.
No.
You should do research. They're former Democrats
More
that ran for the
research.
presidency, and they're behind Trump because Trump is a ticket that's unifying the country and will make the country great again.
What about the 13 different people that worked alongside of him, including his vice president?
Yeah, the people he
in turn?
fired. I think it's awesome. That
No,
they're
they are not with him.
No, I think it's awesome they're against him.
That's what I'm saying.
No,
So
you
it's
know why
like-
they're against him? Because he's a threat to the system they represent. Because we're actually going to have a voice against the warmongers and the neocons and the corporate interests.
Okay.
And you know, over 300 former generals and military officers just endorsed Trump. So, just the other day.
Interesting take. A little clickbaity. I'm gonna admit, but at the end of the day, I mean, I think it's good. I think it's really good for her to actually come out and want to talk to him. It's really good for her to actually go and do the research and not just sit on just one side. Because I mean, for a while, I sat on one side for a very long time, and I think what ultimately allowed me to really consider the other side was some of the stuff that I heard from Joe Biden that I'm just like, that's kind of weird that he said that, because they're claiming that the other people are the ones that keep saying that, but he said that. And then on top of that, when I had my first kid and wondering about schools and stuff like that, the real school system and everything as far as like wokeism and stuff like that, y'all already know my stance on that. That's when I'm like, where do I actually stand? And when I really sat and thought about the standpoints of not Donald Trump, not the Republican, of being conservative, I realized that I lean more towards being a conservative just off of my ideologies. I lean more towards being a conservative than I do a liberal. Do I still care for other people? Yes, of course. And I think that's where that bridge needs to happen, is that we do need to still be able to care for people. But I do also hold value of being able to increase oneself, being able to take care of one's family, and being able to just live as an individual and live in a lifestyle that is, I don't know, peaceful, maybe. And I guess that breaks off the idea of everybody being unique in their own way. But I also follow a Bible that really deems us and has us to live in a way that we can still be unique, but there still has to be a level of peace, which means that we all have to be under one accord of our viewpoints on certain topics. And with the liberals, it seems to just be whatever the heck you want, go ahead type thing. And yes, there could be very different standpoints as far as economics, but at this point in life, especially with my walk in my faith, the economics doesn't bother me too much, because at the end of the day, I know that I trust in God enough to know that I will be given what I need to do, what I need to. I just need to make sure that I'm doing what he wants me to do. And that's how I'm able to go through my day-to-days without really worrying about much money situation. I'll tell everybody, any type of day, I spent the majority as a lead of my household. I spent, before I got this job, I spent the majority of last year being in the negative 3 out of 4 weeks of the month. And as the head provider of the household, that's a terrible situation to be in, let alone not having the money, just knowing that each week we're going to be in the negative for several months. But I didn't rely on the government for that. And I just did what I had to. And I continued to have faith that things were going to work out. And I just kept on going in the path that I was going and didn't venture out or anything like that. And sure enough, something landed. And now I'm in a better situation. So at the end of the day, we have to really look at both sides, and we really have to check our morals, our values with which side we align with. And I do think that it's stupid that we do have two sides. We should really work towards one. But I mean, you're going to have those that lean more towards on the social aspect, and the other side that leans more towards on the, I don't know, I guess you could say economic aspect, but then it kind of leads into the social aspect. I don't know. Ultimately, what you side with has to make sense in a matter of how is it going to affect you and others in a positive way. How is it going to affect, and what plans is going to be put in place? Because they can talk about, oh, Trump is going to put us in all this debt and all that stuff and all that good jazz and whatever. Yeah, will Kamala's plan as far as like the housing situation that she was talking about that she was going to do, where the heck was that money going to come from? We were going to pay the taxes for that. So either way, both parties has ways of making us spend more money. It just depends on when and who's paying for it. And I personally don't like my taxes going up. And since I really understood taxes, I really dislike the idea of my taxes going up. But now I'm rambling, and this has nothing to do with the video. Very interesting take. Yeah, I hope that she definitely does more research, and actually sticks with what side that she firmly like sides with, that she believes. Where's her beliefs come from, and her morals and her values. That's the word, values. Where does her morals or her values stand? And then you side with that party. I could care less for Trump, and some of the stuff, especially some of the executive orders that he's been putting out, I don't agree with. But at the end of the day, a lot of his policies still coincides with my values. So that's where I stand. I could care less about the money right now. That's not my concern. Well, let me not say that. I can care less about the money, which is the big thing with the people in Trump. I care more about the social changes that would have came with the liberals than the money. I care more about the social than I do the money. Let me put it like that. If you get it, you get it. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. I'm gonna catch you on the next one. Take it easy. Peace.